Awesome. Hey, Anne Marie,
Cool.
it's great having you on the call. Thank you so much for joining. It's been amazing working together for, well over a year now. Yeah, would you
Yeah.
mind introducing yourself in terms of just letting people know who you are?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Anne Marie Meyer. I've been publishing since 2017, and I've been running ads since basically 2017 on Facebook. And I just started my direct sales journey last year, which is crazy. It's been a year
Mm-hmm.
already, over a year. But I'm 4 times USA Today bestselling author. I just got a book sold as a movie. And
Amazing.
yeah, I write sweet and clean romances. I have about 64 books now
Yeah,
published. So I've been in this for a long time.
that's amazing. Yeah, and we were actually the very first people to work together in terms of direct, and so that was like you're definitely a very early adopter in terms of like anything new coming. Would you say
Yeah.
that like how would you say your experience because you were like one of the first early adopters in it. How would you say the difference between running ads back in traffic ads in 2017 versus like later in the future into 2021 versus jumping into selling direct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I feel like I've been on the journey of Facebook ads because I got into publishing right when it got harder on Amazon. Because
Uh-huh.
before Amazon used to just push everyone's books, everyone, it was like the golden like rush of
Hmm.
publishing. So I got in towards the end of that. So Facebook ads were really important for me in launching my career, but they were also so much cheaper and easier to work with, and it was less crazy red tape, all that kind of stuff. So I've kind of felt the evolution of Facebook ads from
Hmm.
2017 until now.
Yep.
So they used to be amazing for link click ads. Like I could raise my rank to the top 100 with a Facebook ad. I made a lot of money doing Facebook ads and
Hmm.
it didn't cost very much. But just like everything does, things get saturated and then the efficiency stops working as well. And I started feeling that a lot. And then I got told about TikTok ads. And that's when I kind of did some searching around. And that's how you and I met, was actually working together to make TikTok
Hmm.
videos. So
Yep.
we did that for like, I
Yeah.
mean, 6 months, I think. And then I got viral TikToks and then I kind of fell off the planet. And then you reached out to me in January and I was like,
Yep.
well, it's great you reached out to me because I'm looking into going direct. And I knew that's what you specialized in, was going direct, selling using Facebook ads for conversion ads instead of
Yes.
link click ads.
Yes.
And I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm an early adapter. I study early adapters and then
Hmm.
I adjust accordingly. So
Yes.
I knew some people who had gone direct and I was like, okay, I'm ready to do this. How are you doing it? But not only how are you doing it and how can I do it better?
Hmm.
And I think a lot of the direct sales in the beginning when it started were more paperback, hardcover, physical
Hmm.
products. Just last year, BookFunnel has gotten a lot better, especially with like you can
Hmm.
send audiobooks, you can actually send like links for people to purchase through BookFunnel. And me and some other authors I feel like are much
Hmm.
more into like the ebook section where we're actually taking Kindle like on in terms
Hmm.
of how we're gonna sell you my book directly through the BookFunnel app, but then upload it to your Kindle. So that's kind of how I started, but it was
Hmm.
always, I always adapt because things that I was doing before aren't working anymore.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that drove me the biggest nuts was that I had like 27,000 followers on Amazon.
Hmm.
And I was like, why, when I release, do I not hit number one every time if I have 27,000 followers on
Yep.
Amazon? And then I realized, like, I don't control any of their data. They can shut me down tomorrow. And they did. They shut me down for 48 hours. And that's when I
Hmm.
was like, I can't put all my eggs in Amazon's basket. I need that control. So that was really a big like seller to me, is using direct to have that control.
Control.
Um, and I feel like too, like direct right now, and maybe it's because it's an election year. I don't know. Ads are a little bit harder than they were last year. So we're, adapting through TikTok and
Hmm.
TikTok ads. So we're constantly trying to find something new, but I don't think I'd ever go back. I would ever go away from direct sales. I have people's email addresses. I have a
Yes.
deeper connection with my readers than I ever had before. Because before it was like, put it up on Amazon
Hmm.
and then just let see what Amazon does. And the truth is, we were benefited a lot as Amazon heavy authors because Amazon was giving us access to their customers. They
Hmm.
were never our customers to begin with.
Yeah.
But now I have a huge list of customers that I can send an email like discount sale to, and I can see a market increase in sales and revenue and income. And so these people will be with me
Hmm.
till I stop publishing. They'll
Yes.
continue buying my books and I will have an access to them like I've never had before.
Yeah.
So in terms of longevity, I see direct sales being what authors do, especially like there's some authors who are like, I just want to write a book, publish it, and move on with my life.
Hmm.
But for authors who are like, I want to make a business, I want to make
Yes.
generational wealth, I want to change my family and other people's lives, direct sales is really the way that's going to happen.
Yeah, 100%. And like even thinking back into, because with the traffic ads that we were talking about, that was back in 2022. That was like summer of 2022, I think, is when we first started
Yeah.
and we were running traffic ads. And then I know I reached back out to you, and then we were talking, you actually, to give you 100% credit in terms of like the bundle, you had the store, and you were like, let's start selling.
Mhm.
And how would you say that experience was? Because I'd say you're probably one of the hardest working people that I know. And so it's like, it's not easy, of course, but like, how
Yeah.
would you say like when we started like January, how was that initial like jumping in a direct?
I had a lot of fears in
Yeah.
terms of because we come from the KU mindset, which is
Hmm.
readers are not going to buy books. They
Hmm.
want subscriptions. They want to pay a flat fee and have as much access to books as they can have.
Hmm.
So I used to publish books at 99 cents. The book price would be 99 cents. The book would be in KU. And
Hmm.
I mean, I made money that way, but I slowly started increasing my price. So
Hmm.
I did a 299 yeah, I did a 299 launch and then a 399 launch, and I was like, oh, people readers are buying. So I think changing your mindset of like, well, a reader is not going to buy my book if it's 8.99.
Hmm.
But I released Lucky Charm at 8.99 on Amazon and 7.99 in the store, and people are buying and it's fine.
Hmm.
So I think that was a big shift for me. I did have a lot of experience with TikTok prior, so I learned how to speak to my reader in a
Hmm.
way that says, you're going to want to read this book more than just like, here's a picture of my book. Do you want to read it?
Yes.
Like enticing them. So I had some like a whole year of practice, and that's kind of where you and I worked together. So then when I jumped into direct sales, it was a little easier because I had all that ad copy experience,
Hmm.
writing ad copy under my belt. And then I started out by just publishing the two books. And it was like $5.99 and I was breaking even. And then I talked to Laura Burton and she's like,
Hmm.
why wouldn't like, I'm like, well, no one's gonna buy this bundle at $25.99. And she's like, but what if they do?
Hmm.
And so as soon as I switched over to the $25.99 bundle, it was like my income shot up. People were buying it because I'm like, here, you get all of these books, 12
Hmm.
of them. You own them. KU, they don't own the books. And as
Yeah.
soon as someone takes the book out of KU, you lose that book. Like you don't get to keep it. And
Yeah.
so like here, you get to keep it, you get to have it forever, and you have it at a discount that you can't get it on Amazon.
Yeah.
And so many readers are positive. They want to support small businesses over Amazon. And
Yes.
I had a lot of readers like say, oh, I didn't know Amazon did that to you, or I would prefer to buy it from you over Amazon
Hmm.
and or big read box companies kind
Yeah.
of thing. But then there's also readers who are like, no, I'm loyal to Amazon. And I'm like, great, go buy over there. And I saw an increase in Amazon sales as I saw an increase in direct sales, which I was like, this is amazing because how much time have I spent trying to get Amazon sales? And here, if I just push my own store and grab those people who are willing to buy from me, then they're just going to go over to Amazon and that's going to increase. And that
Yeah.
was crazy amazing
Yeah.
as
Did
well.
did you also notice from when you were running traffic ads, obviously you were really profitable before with traffic ads. And but would you say jumping into direct because it's a pretty different reader base, how is that in terms of like keeping revenue from what you're at before and then as we've been going over, I mean, the past like year and a half now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think if I look back at my career journey,
Yeah.
I hate to say one thing changed everything. I've always adapted and changed according to what the market needs. So
Hmm.
there was a whole year when I realized that I didn't have a long enough series
Hmm.
to sell because that's how we were taught, like you sell book one and then you
Yeah.
get the profit through the rest of the
Read through.
series.
Yeah.
So I took time and I wrote in a series till I had a big chunk of a series and I really didn't do any new releases. Then I decided I was going to go wide and release wide. And my whole Sweet Tea and Southern Gentleman series has never, and my Magnolia series has never been in Kindle Unlimited.
Hmm.
I have only released it wide. So that means it's on all book platforms and on Amazon. So I kind of had two series that were selling really, really well that were
Hmm.
wide, that I didn't have to worry about losing that KU income.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, if I can make these work wide, or these work direct, then I will pull everything that I have in Kindle Unlimited and I will go direct with that. So it was more like every rung I had like a safety net, and the next
Hmm.
rung I had a safety net, because I was like, well, if direct sales fails, that's fine, because my books have already been wide. I have wide reader base. My readers expect them to be the price they are. They're not going to be in KU. I can see it be really hard for authors who have everything in KU making the shift over to direct sales,
Hmm.
because my best-selling series was wide. So then I was just able to add another layer. If you
Hmm.
take your best-selling series and KU and you pull it out direct, you might have a dip in income.
Hmm.
Um, but people's initial reaction when they're like, I'm going to go direct sales, but I'm going to pull my series that doesn't make me any money and it's just
Hmm.
sitting there. That's almost like the worst, because you want to put your best foot forward. You have your best marketing for your best series, but then it's also scary at the same time because you can't. So for me, I had a lot of safety nets, basically.
Hmm.
So taking direct sales, I mean, so then my income, because I'd made these changes, had increased over and over. But direct sales, I mean, I saw a 2x income over the year by going direct. I mean, last year I did $1 million on Shopify, and
Hmm.
that was just Shopify. And then the residual Amazon amount was close to 500,000
Yeah.
through all the wide platforms. Because once you go wide, you're on every platform. So
Hmm.
iBook readers, Kobo, all those people, Google Play. iBooks is I'm a 5-figure a month author on iBooks alone
That's
right
amazing.
now. So it's like where I was a 5-figure author on Amazon a couple of years ago. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like, wow, there are so many readers out there, and giving these readers all these different platforms to purchase their books, you're only going to see an increase in money. Like I hate ACX. I hate Audible. They screw authors over. I only get
Hmm.
25% of sales, which I think is ridiculous, because why do you get 75%? And I put all the money into making them, I create them, and all you do is host them. So I
Hmm.
will never, ever, ever be exclusive to Audible, even though they'll give me 45%. It's just no. But we've been adding audiobooks to Findaway, and like a month or two ago, Findaway made more than ACX.
Hmm.
And I sell my own audiobooks on my website as well. So I don't remember where I was going with. Oh, I just being on everything. Like
Yes.
libraries. I have people telling me they're 67th in line to get my book at their library. And I was just like, like blow my mind.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you sure you want this book? Like, really? You're willing to wait through
Yeah.
67 people? That's crazy. But giving yourself different platforms is scary at first, because you really are starting at ground zero. And
Hmm.
Amazon is easy because you're like, oh, well, I'm using Amazon's customer base.
Hmm.
Now I feel like through the year and a lot of ad spend and a lot of income,
Hmm.
I feel like I now have my own customer base that I can dip into. And I was telling my PA, I was like, I'm feeling this forward momentum
Hmm.
that I didn't feel before, where
Yeah.
you're just like, I need to fill the ocean that is my customers. And now I'm like, okay, I'm getting to the point where like I have a big enough ocean where I'm starting to feel an upward lift, where it's not as much work, but it is a lot of work. It is not for the
Initially.
faint of heart at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
going to feel frustrating. Because direct sales is, because you're starting at zero, but the
Hmm.
idea that you cannot make the same customer base that Amazon has is ridiculous. You should be able to, and then sell infinitum. Like in 10 years, I have
Hmm.
24,000 active people on my newsletter. In
Could have
10
bought.
years, that's going to be a
Yeah.
ton. And like putting out a book, I'm going to just shoot up, because now I have that I have that contact information. I can send postcards to them. I can send emails. I can remind them, I'm here. You want to buy my books. And
Yes.
most readers want, like, I think we think we're annoying them, but readers want that. They find an author that they like. Please remind me. I'm always telling people where I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll meet with you, but can you text me the day before, because
Hmm.
I will forget. like readers want that reminder. So I think that was another thing of telling myself, like, no, readers want to stay in touch with me. Readers want to get to know me. Readers want me to be in their email boxes. I still hate emails. I'm paying someone to do them for me, but and I can see the power of them, but I know they want me there because
Hmm.
they're responding, they're opening, they're clicking, they're buying. Even my open rate and click rate now compared to the ones that I got previously when I was doing link click ads
Hmm.
and the people that were joining after is insane. Like my open rate's like at 50% or something like that. My click
Yeah.
rate's even like super high too. So it's like I am having that connection that I didn't have previously when I was Amazon focused and Amazon heavy.
Yeah, yeah, because like those readers taking out your credit card and paying $30, that's a much more valuable email than someone getting a free book, of course. Would you
Oh yeah.
say too that like what you were just talking about with all these other platforms, because we're only running ads on Facebook, TikTok, and then you have your TikTok following, of course, you're one of the most prominent authors there, but like do you also notice the Amazon increase when we weren't even running any ads to Amazon? We were just running it to your store too. And that was
Yeah.
increasing as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like TikTok, obviously last year, especially was, or the year before that, that was
Hmm.
how I made money that
Yeah.
year. And I think I did $700,000 the year before last year. So, and
Yeah.
that was pretty much, I mean, I did link click ads to Amazon,
Hmm.
but it was a lot of just organic TikToks. So a lot of people go over there. So I
Hmm.
find wherever a reader sees your ad, whether it be an organic TikTok post
Hmm.
or an organic or a paid TikTok post or a paid Facebook ad, probably Google ads, they're going to look at your book, see the title, and they're going to go to wherever they feel
They
comfortable
want.
buying
Yeah.
their book. Yeah. The big thing with direct sales is you want to entice readers to be not only like, hey, you're buying directly from me, but
Hmm.
you're also going to get it at a discounted price. So
Hmm.
everything on the other platforms is higher. I'm like, you want to buy there? That's fine. You're just going to have to pay a higher price.
Yes.
But the other thing I do too is I do bonus scenes in the back of my books that people have to sign up for my newsletter for. That allows me to get the Amazon people into my store. So maybe later they'll see a Facebook ad and be like, well, I read one of her books. I liked it. Maybe I'll try her direct books, that sort
Exactly.
of thing. So I try to catch people into my store is my main focus. And then everything else is just, you know, dispersed where it needs to be and
Yeah.
how it's going to be. Whatever they do, I don't worry about it. But I do probably, depending on what's happening that month, 15 to 17,000 on just the other wide platforms a month, which to me is like
Amazing.
crazy. And that's just not Amazon. That's
Yeah.
Kobo, Google Play, Barnes and Nobles and iBooks. So that's amazing. I'm like, yes, why would I go back to Kindle Unlimited when you're like trying to get scraps from people or this rat race idea of, okay, well, you need to put your next book out. You need to put your next book out. And I finally was like, I have 60 books,
Hmm.
okay? And I am making less money now than when I had 5.
Yeah.
Something needs to change. Something needs to stop. I have no idea what one reader has versus another reader. Which one do I
Hmm.
market? How do I know what they have so that I can say, hey, you liked this book. Maybe you'll like this book. With direct sales, you can see, you get a rolling total in Klaviyo. You can say, if this person has bought this but hasn't bought this, you can send them this. Or if like there's just ability to say, I have 60 books, buy them all. And now this one person, instead of trying to get a $3.99 book or KU, I don't write long books and I don't want to write long books. I think
Hmm.
long books are boring and you just end up filling them with fluff. So now I'm like even less in KU. It's like $1.50. It's what I'm
Hmm.
making when you read it through KU. But then that's how much you're making me versus somebody who buys my $27.95 bundle. Even if it took me $27 to get them to purchase, but they're worth $150 to me if I can get them to buy everything else that I have.
Exactly.
Plus, hey, I got a collector's edition box now that you can buy, or I have some swag that you can buy. Now, this one person is an infinitum worth to me versus this $1.50 KU reader who maybe keeps up with me, maybe goes to read, or maybe reads my book, returns it, forgets my name. Like, how many people are like, I saw this
Hmm.
TikTok and I can't remember, and this is what it was about. Like, they forget me, and then I have to work hard to get them to come back. So I was just like, it's hard when you're starting with direct because you don't see that instant money from using that customer base. But when you look at long term, what can I do with this person long term?
Hmm.
That's going to change everything. Like, do for yourself 10 years from now, do that, do blah, blah, blah. Like, help your person 10 years from now by doing the work now, because in 10 years, you're going to have all these customers that you're going to be able to draw from, instead of just being like, no, I'll just stay with Amazon. In 10
Hmm.
years from now, you're going to be doing the same thing, writing books, publishing books, feeding the Amazon algorithm. You
Yeah.
know, please look at me, please like my book, because you realize it's really just like luck, a lot of it
Hmm.
on Amazon. It is not anything one person does. People who make $2 million on Amazon in a year, a lot of times, yes, they write good books, but a lot of times they just hit the market at the right time. And
Hmm.
Amazon, I mean, I had rule number one, that happened for me. I just hit the market at the right time. I pushed it hard with newsletter swaps and I pushed it hard with ads. And then it ended at like 1,200 in the
Hmm.
store. And then because The Kissing Booth came out and To All the Boys I've Loved Before came out on Netflix, YA got a huge lift. And I felt that lift. Rule number one got to 200 in the store, not by ads from me. And it just stayed there for months and months because YA had a surgence. But I'm like, that was luck. I can never replicate that. I appreciate it for what it was. But now I'm like, okay, but imagine if I had had all those readers in my pocket
Yeah.
for the future. So it's like, Amazon authors, we were trained to just pump out books and pray. And now I'm like, no, I'm going to take my career and my business in my own hands and I'm going to do it. And if Amazon wants to pick up my book, great. I will have, I'll go on a trip to Cancun because
Hmm.
it'll pay for it itself. And if it doesn't, then that's fine too. I'm still going to be able to have my mortgage and the people that work for me. And I don't have to worry about whether or not Amazon's going to smile at me, which I just became like, it felt like a mean girl, especially in the author community too. They're like, well,
Hmm.
I'm a top 10 Amazon seller. And I'm like, I don't really care. That means nothing to me because either Amazon picked you up or you spent a crap a ton of money on ads, or maybe you had the magic formula, but you had it for that one book. You're not going to have it for all books
Hmm.
forever, infinitum. And so I'm just like, I'm just not interested in that world anymore.
Yeah, and like what you were saying too is that the whole market, like I think that everyone can kind of see in terms of any type of product, it's moving towards away from big corporation and more towards the individual person because we have the ability to actually be able to sell to an actual customer. It's like your own brand. Um,
Yeah. Well,
I
and I think
yeah.
too, like people right now, because I say I sell so much product with
Hmm.
TikTok. Like 2 months ago, I hit 6 figures on TikTok shop
Hmm.
alone. But I know that's not going to last forever. And who
Hmm.
knows, TikTok may get banned. But I have learned enough now and have taken the plunge into physical products that I'm like, okay, I've done it on TikTok shop. Buyers exist over there. How do I get them onto Shopify? Because that's where I want to be. I want to focus on selling my physical products on Shopify, where TikTok now has become a bonus because I will never put my trust completely in a corporation ever again because Amazon just cut me, just shut me down. TikTok has not banned me, but they've given me a ton of violation points that I've had to fight against. And I'm
Hmm.
like, I don't like any of that. Sometimes I use these platforms as like a business model testing strategy because it's a
Hmm.
little bit easier, but then realizing, okay, this works. These people exist. How do I get them over here to Shopify?
Yeah.
And how do I increase Shopify so that if TikTok does get banned or decides that I'm done, that I won't skip a beat and I won't be like left with all this physical product?
100%. Yeah, and that's how we always, I know on our calls, we're always looking at like in terms of the business side. It's how low can you acquire a customer for, and how much can you make them worth in the end? Like it's exactly
Yeah.
what you're doing. Yeah, yeah, it's been
Hmm.
awesome. And then how would you
And
say?
I would
Oh yeah,
say,
good. Mhm.
no, I was gonna say, and a plug for you, like I would not be where I am today if I hadn't started working for you. I get people who ask me questions like, how's it working with Cameron? I'm like, if you're looking for a magic pill, it doesn't exist to anybody. It's not in
Yeah.
TikTok, it's not in Amazon, it's not in Cameron. But I would not be where I am or have the confidence or any of that to be where I am today if I hadn't relied on your expertise with Facebook ads and TikTok, and go into everything one knowing what you're doing and what your business is doing. Because I'm always like, teach me, Cameron, tell me why. or convince me why. Or sometimes I'll just write you and be like, so I'm going to do this. And I know you said no, but I'm doing it anyways. And if I lose the money, I know it's my fault, but I need to test it out. You as an author need to take control of your own business. You need to know your own readers. Cameron's not going to know those people for you. And then you come together and it's like a collaboration
Hmm.
between me and you. We're always, what about this? And you're always showing me like, oh, well, these ads are working well. Can you try to do them? And I'm like, yes, we talk things through. That's going to be your best. But I tell everybody, I would not be sitting here today if we hadn't worked together, because you have expertise, but my expertise are my books, my business, and my reader. And we combine the two together. But there is no magic pill. Direct sales is not a magic pill. Direct sales
Yeah.
is very, very hard and it's not easy. But if you can stick through it and you can work the system and figure it out, it will reap benefits in the future. And using somebody's expertise where you don't have to learn it is huge as well. Oh, there's a fly around me, which is why like now I have an email person who does all
Yeah.
my emails, because I realize I can't do that portion.
Yes.
But I also like Facebook ads, there's a lot of waiting. And I think in the beginning I was always tweaking, especially with link click ads. I was in my ads every day. So you also kind of feel like, well, it's really stressful right now. But in my experience with Facebook ads, like you have said, if you wait long enough, things will either show like, yes, they are bad, we need to change them,
Hmm.
or they get better over time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, 100%. And then, I mean, honestly, I gotta be honest about that too, is that I wouldn't be here without you too, in terms of introducing me to everyone. And I mean, yeah, it was great that we were able to just get results and get things scaled up. And how would you say, this is probably the last question, but how would you say the experience on the calls has been too? Like obviously working together has been very fun, but how would you say like jumping on the calls, seeing like as we're going through accounts each week, how has that been?
Well, I try to come like, cause I'm in my ads pretty much
Hmm.
every day. As we're starting to scale up, trying to get that, um, there is a magic lift feeling once you get the right combination of ads working together.
Hmm.
It like last year, I remember I was on a trip. I was on a month-long trip to Canada and Minnesota. And I remember texting you and I'm like, it's almost like it wants us to still keep putting money in, because we would put money, we would increase the budget and it would be high for a little bit and then it would drop back down.
Hmm.
And it was like just, like we would scale it and it would stay high, it would go high for a little bit, but then it would drop back down.
Hmm.
There is a synergy between all the ads, and once you get that and you don't let it like disappoint you,
Hmm.
then you can just feel like, oh, we're starting to scale, but I'm making more money, but I'm not losing that money, right?
Hmm.
So that's been really great. Having you help and troubleshoot, like seeing where there's problems, but you also listen. You also are like, if an author is like, I really don't think that's going to work, like you do push them, but you also let the author sort of guide the
Hmm.
situation, and say, okay, let's try that. Like you let me try things, and then I'll come back and be like, yeah, that did not work. That failed. So you're very understanding, you're listening, you're understanding like the romance readers as well. Like as you're working in my account and multiple other romance authors account, you can kind of see uh patterns in like what
Yeah.
readers are enjoying, which I really like too, because maybe I can't see something that you're seeing. And then you can come back and be like, hey, let's try this or go this direction. But then again, also authors' ads are so different across the board. Having someone who's been with me from the start every week, going on a call with me, you remember what had happened previously
Yeah.
before, which has been really helpful as well. So, I mean, I know your amount to work with an author is high, but that's because you're going to get those higher intent authors. And
Hmm.
then you're also going to have those higher, like I don't blink twice. If I see somebody that's going to be worth it to my business and they tell me their price, I'm like, do it. Let's do it,
Hmm.
because it's going to be beneficial in the end. I don't know. Does that answer that
Yeah,
question?
no, 100%. No, it's
Okay.
that's amazing. Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for, I mean, sharing everything about your experience in the program. And I can't wait to see where we
Yeah.
go in the next. And congrats again on the movie. That's like the coolest
Thank
thing
you.
ever. It makes me so happy. Yeah, and I just can't
Yes.
wait to see where we go in like the next years. It's gonna be awesome.
I
Uh,
know, because well, let's see. Last year, I think I did 1.7.
mhm.
This year, in July, I'm already at 1.5, 1.6. So I have done what I did last year,
Sick.
this year.
Yeah.
And I had harder months there where it
Hmm.
was like, but now we're getting into the good months because this is
Hmm.
really where it took off last year was
Yep.
the summer months. And then it was a huge, nice like boost.
Yeah.
Beginning of this year was a little harder, but I also noticed that where I put my focus is where I do well. So I
Yeah.
was focusing a lot on TikTok and kind of letting Facebook slide by the wayside. And now I'm kind of trying to do both, which is another benefit towards you because you can help with both sides because I can't do it all.
Hmm.
Obviously, I can't, run my business and write books and worry about the ads and stuff like that. The other thing that if you focus on the organic parts of your business, like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and you're trying to do the organic part, then when Cameron comes in to do the ads, it's so much easier because you
Hmm.
have the content. You can say, this did really, really well. Here's an image, what I'm thinking about. And if you come with all of that already, it makes this time with you so much better instead of wasting time working on like, well, let's try different ad copy or let's try
Hmm.
different that. If you are doing that work organically, and we are so blessed to be able to do organic and to have such an instantaneous free feedback like
Hmm.
no other is amazing. Like use that to your advantage that when you do go work with Cameron or you do go to work with ads, you already have all of that tested. So you're not spending because you're either going to spend money, you're either going to spend time or money
Time or
in this
money.
business. How
Hmm.
you want to do it. You can throw money at Cameron and you can throw money at ads and test, or you can spend the time to make the videos, go over your ad copy, rethink your ad copy. And then once you are like, yes, this is stuff that people are purchasing books off, they're responding to, they're commenting, they know it's a book.
Hmm.
That's a big one,
Yeah.
right? Like that this is good. I've got ad copy. Now let me take everything I've done over here and bring it over here. And the spend will be less and your income will be more. So it just kind of depends on how you want to do, but you can't grow in this business in the author world without spending something. And it's
Yeah.
just going to have to be dependent on what you want to spend, either your time or your money.
100%. Yeah, it's all time and money. That's really everything in terms of how you got to make decisions. And
Right.
yeah, it's so smart. Yeah, especially as you've been growing your team too, and all those boxes behind you, shipping
I
and
know.
everything.
It's crazy. But and just remember too, as authors, like it's not just ebooks, it's ebooks, audiobooks, it's
Hmm.
paperbacks, it's hardcovers, it's special
Your
editions.
business.
But
Yeah.
also I know like I've seen posts where people talk about like, oh, there's so much to do now. I'm like, be intentional. Know why you're doing it. Special editions, people love special editions, but they're also for the super fans. So if you build
Hmm.
a pool of fans and then you create a special edition, it's those super fans that are come by it. Would I ever suggest somebody starts out by doing special editions? No. I would also never soft launch special editions. If I'm going to do special editions, it's going to be a hard launch and we're going to
Hmm.
work hard on it.
Yep.
The other thing that Cameron has also helped me with is the mindset that you are still launching a book 3 months later, which to me is a crazy concept. But in the seller's world,
Hmm.
nobody tries to sell as much as they can of one product in a month. Like it's months and months and months because that's how you get that upward lift, that more forward momentum, right? Like was it
Hmm.
called the tipping point? There
Hmm.
has to be enough people before they start telling their friends about it and you feel that organic natural lift. So there's no more 30, 60, 90-day BS crap from Amazon. Hate all of that. That's all small mindset that's not going to help you out. You are still releasing your book to whoever is viewing your ad years and years later. And if you can change your mindset in terms of, oh no, I have only 30 days to push this book and after that now I need to focus on my next book,
Hmm.
it will change your mind. And Cameron helps with that. Like he talks me off a lot of ledges. Like you need that like back and forth conversation piece too.
Yeah.
And then also sometimes, there has to be, some pushback too. I'm like, if you don't agree with what Cameron says, then tell him that and say,
Hmm.
hey, I want to try something different. Let's try this different path. Now you can't blame him if you lose money because that's your fault. That was your decision. But you don't have to always like, your books, your company. And if you feel like it needs to go in a little bit of different direction, then be honest. Like
Hmm.
just Cameron's always been good at me being like, what's going on? And you help talk me down from the ledge because that's what you're there for is
Yeah.
not only the ads component, but like troubleshooting or like, hey, I'm going to have this new release. What do you think I should do? What are you seeing is working well for other authors or in the sell e-commerce world? You've
Hmm.
been in here for a lot longer than I have. And relying on that expertise, is really, really beneficial. So
Yeah, because you have all the control. Like there's some authors that do just ebooks, audiobooks, and they're doing like 30 to 50K profit. And they're like, I just want to stay here. I love this. This is great. I don't want to do anything else. Like Amazon can take care of the paperbacks. So like I just want to sell these. But you can also
Mhm.
decide to do what you're doing and just go like you just go all out and just I mean, we're still promoting the same bundle that we were promoting last year, and you're finding new readers every single day still. And there's
Yeah.
still plenty more out there. And so yeah,
Yeah.
there's just a lot more
Which Cameron
opportunity.
helps me see because I'm like, no, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm not going to sell another book because I will have reached everybody. But it's like,
Yeah.
no, that's not the case. And so
Yeah.
it's working through that mindset of like, no, I'm going to reach everybody. I mean, I'm still selling on Amazon like crazy and I'm still selling everywhere else. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, how are there this many people in the world? Like my brain cannot comprehend. And that's just the US. Like we're not even
Hmm.
talking like
Yeah.
international, which opens a whole nother thing. And I would
Yeah.
say like paperbacks and stuff, like it will double your income if you go to paperbacks. But
Hmm.
again, you don't have to. There's nothing in this business that says you have to do
Yes.
something. I have this crazy like achiever. I'm a high achiever. I'm high restorative. I'm high futuristic. So I'm constantly living in the future. And if that's not your jam, that's fine. But do something that allows you to continue doing something. Do something slowly that grows over time. Like what do they say? Like
Hmm.
compound growth. If you start
Compound.
selling direct
Hmm.
and you're slowly gathering these readers in 10 years, how many readers are you going to have? So when you release that book in 10 years, all of a sudden you're making six figures, seven figures in a month because you
Yeah.
have enough people buying at one single time.
Yeah.
So yeah, because Amazon, yeah, it's a great platform, but what they're really collecting is customers and buyers.
Yep.
That's what they're doing. And they're going to you, it seems like, oh, this is a great deal, but you're going to be left with nothing, especially if Amazon says, you're done. You're not going to be able to publish here anymore. You're now left with zero. And the same thing with TikTok. I have 230,000 followers on TikTok. One, that doesn't mean a whole lot because my videos get like some videos get 800 views,
Hmm.
but and if TikTok shuts down tomorrow, okay, I have to pivot and do another direction.
Hmm.
Using platforms are great, but having that home base of your own is like what's going to change your life and protect you from the whims of bots and AI
Yep.
because that's really shutting people down.
Hmm. Yeah, it's your brand. No one can take that away from you. Like no one can copy that.
Yeah.
It's your copyright. It's everything's yours. It's your store. You're still ranked in Google, everything. Yeah. So
And when
100%.
you have Amazon say you're not going to get paid $250,000 of what you've earned because of three
Scary.
titles that money has nothing to do with, your loyalty to Amazon nosedives.
Yeah.
Like to the point where they shut you down. You can't call anybody. You can email, and that is it. You can email one person, and that is it. Like that to me, I'm like, that is scary. And I never want to be in that situation again. And I will never go into Kindle Unlimited again because what if somebody picks up your book and does a whole bunch of fraudulent page views and then Amazon shuts you down because they say those were not real
Hmm.
page views? Like putting all your money and all your ad spend in a 60-day lag where, oh, maybe hopefully I'll have the money to spend or pay off my credit card because I'm like, this is
Yeah.
not, stop being so loyal to Amazon because they are not loyal to you and they will never be loyal to you because you are nothing there. You are a drop in the big ocean that is Amazon sellers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean, it's been so much greater to have all that control. And honestly, I'm gonna be really excited to see where we can go in the next years.
I
And
know.
yeah, especially
I
just
had
gaining
an
more
8-figure goal
customers.
this year. I don't think I'm going to make it, but I think I will double what I did last year. So
Amazing.
that's pretty amazing. And I know eventually that is going to slow. I'm not going to be able to keep doubling, but the possibilities are there. And now when I release a book, I'm that much more excited because I'm like,
Yeah,
I actually have a fan base that I can sell this book to that I know will go and buy it.
exactly.
So
The whole point.
it's
That's
amazing.
awesome. Well, yeah, thank you so much for hopping on, and thank
Yeah.
you for just your honest words. I really appreciate it. And yeah, it's gonna be so much fun to see where we can go in the next couple of years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited for how direct sales is going to change the author world. I
Yeah.
really think it's going to be amazing. And not only just like how ebooks changed the publishing world,
Yeah.
um, I see direct sales, authors taking back their words, their stories, making it harder for
Hmm.
publishers to come in and like screw authors over. There's
Hmm.
going to be a big reckoning, I think, for traditionally published because authors are going to be like, I don't need you. You need me. And I want to see that change because authors get the short end of the stick when it comes to that
Yeah.
sort of thing. And maybe someday moving into the movie world as well, where
Hmm.
authors don't get the recognition they need for the stories that they create
No.
in their mind. It'd be really exciting to see how this kind of independent way of thinking, small business, really
Hmm.
does change big corporations that have had control over everything. Um, so, and it's all about readers and viewers.
And it, yeah.
And
Hmm.
if you can control your own set of people, um, it'll be a lot better for
Yeah.
everyone all around.
All about attention. That's
Mhm.
everything. It's all about attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About
Yeah.
getting your face. Like I would say, we could all be Colleen Hoover if everyone knew we existed. The only reason people aren't reading my books because they don't know I'm there.
Mhm.
And so just get known. That's, I mean, if that's
Yeah.
what you want, there's a lot of people who are like, no, I don't want to do that. And that's totally fine. But if you want to have that, it's all about visibility. It's pretty much everybody. If you're to the point where I am and you're making a decent income, you know how to write. You
Yeah.
don't need someone to teach you how to write. You just need to get your books visible.
Yeah.
And I'm to the point now where I'm like, I probably don't have to write another book my entire life if I didn't want to. I could just continue selling what I already have and finding new
Realistically.
ways, fun ways to sell to readers. Obviously, my readers would be devastated and they want to read new books. But there is enough people out there that I could stop writing if I wanted to. And there's some people that I make that suggestion where I'm like, don't write for 6 months, focus on your business, get some stability. Like, because once you get Facebook ads running for you, it can be months before you touch them, even
Yes.
to a year. I mean, you
Yeah.
might have to throw a new ad or refresh something, but there's really not a lot of time and effort. Once you put the
Hmm.
time and effort in, you really just coast. So there's a lot of that prep work, but then it's good to go from there.
100%. Yeah. 100%.
All right.
That's
Well,
amazing. Yeah.
thanks for
Thank you so
having me.
much for all your
And thank you
info,
for
and
joining the author world. We love having Cameron here. So
yeah,
I
it's
know
been
like
amazing.
he was gonna move to a different direction. And then I was like, let's do the author world
Yep.
together because we need somebody who will stick with us. I've done so many Facebook courses where it's like, this is how you set up an ad. And then after that, you're like, okay, but how do I scale? And how do
Hmm.
I troubleshoot? And none of that was ever given. So that's what I love about all of this working
Yeah.
with you is that I'm like, you stick with me, you help me scale, you help me scale back, we reset, we rejigger everything if it needs it, but I'm not trying to second guess myself or figure out what's going on. There's already somebody there who is thinking that for me, and that really does change everything.
100%. Yeah. And you've done
So
a lot as well yourself, and with the Babes group too, and just providing as much free information for people to just still direct, which is
yeah. And I say always, I always say when I'm over there, like the readers or the authors that are doing the thing don't have the time to really talk about the things that they're doing.
yeah,
And I'm like, if I'm not in there, I'm like, it's because I am working
selling.
so much. Yes,
Yes.
I am selling. I am doing the thing. It doesn't give me the most time to do other things, but I do try to come in there occasionally. But I feel like as a group, it's really kind of taken a life
Awesome.
of its own, which I love. Cameron's in there a lot. He's in there answering questions and talking, and I always tell people, check out my TikTok channel, check out my Amazon
Hmm.
ranks. I know you can't see directly what Shopify is doing, but Amazon is a byproduct of
Hmm.
Shopify. TikTok is doing its own. I mean, you can look at how many sales I've done there. I'm busting my butt over on TikTok. Um, Sometimes I get angry and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. So, and then TikTok's like, fine, we're not going to sell. Like we have a relation, like a abusive ex relationship me and TikTok have. But I still will be over there and I still do the thing. So if you ever question where I'm at, you can just look me up. And
Yeah.
I run no Amazon ads. Well, maybe. I don't even know if I'm running Amazon ads anymore. I run no Facebook ads to Amazon.
Yeah.
Everything on Amazon is a byproduct of what I'm selling over on Shopify. So
Yeah. You're probably one of the
that's
most
a great way to
transparent people with your numbers too. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Very,
I'm not
very.
going to hide anything. Just don't come rob me. That's all I
Yeah.
ask. But I also spend a ton of money on Facebook ads, so it's not all profit either. But and
Yeah.
I have lots of goals. Like I'm like, Cameron, I want to 2x my income on Shopify. Let's get that. And
Hmm.
he's like, well, it's going to be a lot of work. And you're
Hmm.
going to have to put in the time and you're going to have to, spend all day long working on ads and figuring out new ad copy and running AI images and doing all that stuff. But to me, that's an important aspect of my career and my business. And so I'm going to put the time and effort into that. So
Cool. That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely worth it.
I think we could talk about this forever,
Oh,
but
honestly.
people
Yeah.
probably get very bored of it.
Well, thank you so much for jumping on again. And yeah, it'll be amazing. We'll just can't wait to see where we can go in the next few years. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll
Cool.
be awesome.
Thanks, Anne
Okay.
Marie, for jumping on.
You're welcome.
Cool.